Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy, and today we're gonna do something really crazy. We're gonna attack Karl Franz at the beginning of turn 1 during the campaign of Elspeth Von Draken. So yes, we are attacking the people from the Empire, our same faction, and I will explain you why. But before, I want to show you that I'm playing with a very hard setting, both in the campaign and in the battle. Now let's get back. Why I'm attacking Karl Franz? Elspeth Von Draken is a very charismatic character, her campaign is amazing, the mechanics are amazing, but there is a big problem, her starting location, because when you occupy your province, then to attack other enemies, you have to cover very long distances. So how to bypass that, and having a very challenging and funny campaign, you can attack Karl Franz, the person you are not supposed to attack if you are an Empire faction. First thing to do in your agenda is to attack the settlement that you have within your range of movement at the beginning of your campaign. Now, this is not a hard battle, but you have to be careful because the losses that you will suffer in this battle, you have to pay the consequences of that in the next battles. The starting army of Elspeth is actually quite powerful. You have access already in the game to very key units of your campaign, like the Nuln Ironsides, the handgunners, and or the artillery. Now, they are very strong units, but they need to be protected. That's why you have a good bunch of melee troops that, have this purpose. So the game you have to do now is to deal damage with your gunpowder units and to protect them, to distract the enemies with your melee units. The only unit you should worry in your enemy army in this battle are the crossbowmen, because they are missile units, they are not a defensive troop like all the other swordmen and spearmen, so they can deal damage to your handgunners and Nuln Ironsides that they are not shielded, so they will not protect it. So my suggestion is to focus all your fire on them with artillery and with your handgunners or Nuln Ironsides, and then take care of all the other units that, as I said, they will not deal damage to you, and you have just to distract them with your swordmen and spearmen, while with your handgunners and Nuln Ironsides you will annihilate them. The spells of Elspeth Von Draken are not that strong in this moment, but she has one spell that can make one of your ally units to cause terror and fear and terror, and this is quite powerful because once you make your enemy rooting, then the artillery can take care of them and they will... it's hard that they will come back to the battle, so you can just take care of the remaining units. And as you can see, the handgunners and the Nuln Ironsides alone, they do the most of the damage here to the troops that attack your front line, and the result is quite amazing. I made definitely a couple of errors in this, a couple of mistakes in this battle, but as you can see, it's very easy and nothing to worry about. But as I said, you have to be very careful because then the battle you will deal with next, they will be a little more delicate. Okay, you can bump into some issues, so at this point it's very important for you to lose as less units as possible. Once you win the battle, I suggest you to occupy the settlement. Occupy and not occupy and looting. This is because you need to recruit some additional units. You have just one turn to do it, and if you destroy the settlement, you will not have this possibility. So recruit, in my opinion, a couple of archers, because as I said, the true power of your army will be on the missile units and not on your spearmen. So recruit a couple of archers and wait for the next turn, where Karl Franz will abandon all his conquering goals, and he will just target you. He will address you. You will have to fight against Karl Franz, the Emperor of the Empire. This second battle is not that easy. There are a couple of units that are quite strong in the Karl Franz army, For example, the mortars, that they will have a good range and they can risk to cause a lot of casualties to your army. Then the Reiksguard, that it's a quite armored shock cavalry, that if you don't take care of that as soon as possible, he will do a good amount of damage. And then there are the handgunners that you have to address with artillery, and this specific regiment of swordmen that great swordmen that are unbreakable, so they will not root. You will have a very important advantage in this battle. You will have access to very little units from your settlement that of course are very weak at this point because you just occupy the settlement, but they can distract the enemy enough to take care, as I said, of the key units of your army. So start to address with your artillery the army of Karl Franz, and as soon as it gets within your range, you have to target the mortars, because the mortars, you don't have fast units at this point, so you cannot sneak around and hit them like it would have been the best strategy. So your only way to destroy it is with your long range artillery. That I mean, they are 2 against 1, so they will take care of the mortar at this point, but at some point. But I will tell you honestly that it's still a game of luckiness. You have to be lucky, because it can happen that your artillery can miss the target multiple times, and at that point probably is better if you just redo the battle. As you can see, the Reiksguard, the cavalry, is attacking your settlement troops, and this is good because you can send your handgunners to hit the cavalry. I will do just in a while. Of course, the handgunners of your enemy will start to hit your other troops, and yeah, the mortars is going away. We've been lucky in this scenario, so good for us. And as you can see, the handgunners are dealing their damage to the Reiksguard. I will tell you, if they start to charge your main army, luckily the AI is not that smart, but if they start to engage to your army, it's a problem. I mean, if they charge your Nuln Ironsides, probably, as I said, you have to do it again, because you will not be able to win the next match. In this case, we've been quite lucky because the Reiksguard is already losing all its life points, and once we have to deal only with the infantry of the enemy, I mean, it's an easy job. As you can see, there is a handgunner troop that is attacking from, he's trying to sneak around, and you can start to hit them with artillery, but then I would suggest to you to send a unit of spearmen. As a second layer of protection, to still take advantage of your gunpowder units, you can use your characters as a shield, you know, as a bait actually, to distract and attract the enemy troops, so you can take care of them with your missile units. As you can see in the side, there is we've been lucky in this situation because we distracted the 2 handgunners that are quite powerful if left alone, but with our spearmen we distracted both of them, and it was a very good move. Now Karl Franz attack our characters, and this is the only problem, because our characters are strong enough to absorb well the damage of the infantry, but with Karl Franz, that it's a damage dealer and is good against other characters. Not that good, I mean, he's still a diplomat, but yeah, as you can see, the health of Elspeth is going down, but it's not a problem, don't worry. You have still time to shoot and fire with your handgunners, Nuln Ironsides, and yeah, then you can start to retreat a little, but it's still not the moment. Karl Franz hit our handgunners, but no, probably our Nuln Ironsides, and you can use the Spirit Leech of Elspeth to deal with him. It's a quite powerful spell even in the late campaign, so I think you should save all your Winds of Magic to use them against him, but at the same time, as you can see, if you have a straight line of fire with your other handgunners, you can use this tactic to take care of their lord, and at that point, when they will lose Karl Franz, it will be just done. As I said before, your enemy army is just rooting, but there is as I said before, this regiment of swordsmen that it's unbreakable, so you have just to take care of it manually, but it's not a big problem. As you can see, we suffer many losses, but I mean, it's part of the game. But believe me, it's enough to deal with our next battle. Once you win the battle, you have to wait at the end of the turn. At that point you will have 2 additional units, and as you can see, your enemy army get in a very crazy situation, because he's enough close to the settlement, to the fortress, to the capital of Altdorf, to ask them to join in the battle if you attack them. So to conquer Altdorf, the capital of the empire, you don't need to attack the fortress, the capital itself, but just to attack the army that is close to that. Of course, in this battle the big problem is the second army, but you have to take care as soon as possible of the first army, because the mortar, in this scenario, the mortar can be very dangerous, and even more important, the Archlector, that has an ability that give miscast to Elspeth Von Draken, so it will be very dangerous to use your spells. So before the second army is approaching, you have to hit to destroy the lord of the first army. Okay, I deployed in this way where actually the mortar can hit my troops, but I mean, it's better this way because at some point your enemy will approach, so you have to be close enough to hit before. Now, the artillery will start to deal damage to the handgunners, the rest of the troops of the first army, and hopefully he will take down the artillery as a first thing. In the meanwhile, you can deploy your army, of course take into consideration the direction of the second army coming, and you can use a little of that to hit the first army. As I said, you have to take care of the Archlector Lord, otherwise all your spells will be wasted. As you can see, the life of the first army is almost over, and the second army is started to come. These handgunners have been quite resilient, but it's not a big problem. Now it's time to take care of the Archlector, so you can crossfire on him and be very careful of the Reiksguard, because I can already tell you that in this battle it will cause me a lot of trouble. I've not been that lucky like in the previous battle, and you will see. Okay, the Archlector is a easy target here, luckily. We can still not use the Spirit Leech of Elspeth because, as I said, it will cause miscast. And I'm starting to send my characters as a shield to the Reiksguard, but unluckily one of our handgunners got distracted by the Lord. So let's fire on them, and yeah, it will not be enough. I really don't want to witness this disaster again, but yes, they are very stubborn cavalry. It's a very good one. They are trying to flank us. In this case, the AI act very good, and yes, our spearmen and swordmen of course are slower, and that's a very big problem. The Archlector Lord is still there, and this is another big issue. And we are not taking care of, with our artillery properly, of the remaining part of the army. And yes, the cavalry is about to sneak around, and yes, of course, when you play defensively like that, you should always have a rear guard, flankers. I didn't build the box quite well, and that's why this caused me problem later. As you can see, there is the Reiksguard that, as I said, is trying to attack the rear, and the mortars of the enemy, the second mortar of the settlement army, we have not been able to take care of it on time, so it started to hit our infantry like the Reiksguard is still doing, and the enemy army is approaching. There will be a lot of blood, but okay, we're playing this game for this. My handgunners and Nuln Ironsides are quite strong, and they are doing a good job, but at the same time they have so many archers and crossbowmen there, so they are just very vulnerable to them. As you can see, they are just removing their health, but if you crossfire with artillery and handgunners, you can have a chance. The Rake's Guard is still attacking our rear. Now it charged our archers, and we're sending another couple of spearmen to take care of that. But yeah, we're basically deploying all the units that should defend your gunpowder units. We're just deploying in the back to create a wall against the Rake's Guard. This and I mean, I made some videos about how to build the defensive formation, so be conscious of this mistake of mine to not repeat it. But yeah, it's not going that bad. We are still winning according to the game. The Rake's Guard has a lot of leadership, so they will not rout easily. Our archers that we recruit thanks to the settlements they are doing a big part here, because the enemy infantry is not that armored, so they do a lot of damage. Our artillery is in danger because the Rake's Guard attack it, and actually even the other infantry is sneak around the side to attack them, and the mortar of the enemy is still sending bombs to us. Now the Rake's Guard apparently is going away, but he will come back, and we can take a little moment to fix our formation that you can see is completely broken. Of course, our defensive infantry will distract for enough time the remaining one of your enemy. You can start to use the spells of Elspeth, that is another good point. But yeah, the mortars is a problem, the archers are annoying, and the Rake's Guard is about to attack again. Yeah, they are coming there. So powerful, so brave. And of course they are hitting our poor archers that can do anything against them. The archers of the enemy are railing, so yeah, be careful about them. And yeah, use your missile power wisely, because I mean, that's the big point of your army. The artillery here is a little like dismantled, so that's a problem. And the rocket battery is going out of ammunition. Now it's crazy, that Rake's Guard has no health but still leadership. It's just wow. The Lord of the enemy is coming back, and so you have to be careful with the spells again. But finally the artillery can take care of the archers. In this case you should prioritize the archers and not the mortar, because the archers will do more damage, even if it's counterintuitive. With the handgunners and the archers we can finally take care of the remaining missile units of the enemy, and with the artillery too. So everything is going well. We still don't have the direct victory, but we are getting close. Our characters are acting as a shield, so good for them. Another spell for Elspeth. The mortar of the enemy is still hitting. That was seriously, I mean, I missed that during all the battle. And finally we won. It was a hard battle, and at this point you have to take care as much as you can of all the remaining units with your artillery, missile and everything, because you have still to conquer Altdorf. Now you take care of its army, but I mean, the capital is still a fortress, and if you cannot auto-resolve, it's better for them to have as less units as possible. Luckily, in this case, we don't have to do the siege battle, because the army of our enemy of the capital of Altdorf is already very weak, so we can just auto-resolve. Now, why I do that? Why I attack Franz at the beginning of my campaign? I can tell you from my experience that it's a very good start. You will have a lot of fun, because your first big enemy will be Franz, and will try everything to get the capital. And even if you want just to dismantle and go back to hit vampires, you can sell the capital to Rakeland for a lot of money. So you have many options, but I really suggest you to play defensive and hit all the different factions of the empire. It will be very funny. You can conquer their capitals one by one and get as your first enemy the empire. Of course, they will be very challenging, because even the chaos faction, the chaos and destruction faction will start to hit you as soon as possible. The zombies didn't forget about you in Whistleland, so always have a look there. But believe me, it's a lot of fun, and for me, the second campaign I played with Elspeth and I used this strategy, it was one of the best of the entire game. Thank you for following me, and let's see very soon.